Hi, welcome to New Jersey Wedding Podcast, the podcast to listen to while you're planning your wedding in New Jersey. And this is exciting. This is season 6, episode
Yeah,
1. Happy
everybody's
New
starting
Year.
new
We are your
things.
hosts, Andrea Pertel and Celia Milton, and we are both professional wedding officiants here in the state of New Jersey, both of us full time for 14 plus years. Thank you for joining us. How are you today, Celia?
I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah.
New
Happy New Year
year,
to you.
new season. We got everything new and
I
new
know.
people getting engaged. See how smooth it
Right,
was?
right. So a
Ah,
lot of people did get engaged over
I
this
know.
holiday season. I want to tell you, I was looking back though, real quick on all the fabulous guests that we had on
Oh
season
yeah.
5. I mean, the venues, the vendors, all the unique people we had. It is really worth it to everyone who's planning their wedding because season 5 was phenomenal. I
Very
mean, we
fun.
had some of the nicest venues on there and some great little hidden gems and just
Mm-hmm.
so many cool places. So go to the website, New Jersey Wedding Podcast, and look through season 5 and click on the different venues and vendors and listen, check it out because there's just
Hilarious.
so many greats. Love it.
So great
I
people.
was so
And
thankful for every guest who appeared, who came on the podcast
yeah,
to talk about their venue or their photography or their flowers or their DJing services, and musicians.
cakes and all kinds of stuff. It was great. Yeah.
Yeah. And then and we already have some great ones scheduled for this season.
Mm-hmm.
Off the top of my
Yep.
head, I mean, next week we're going to have um, the Old Mill Inn.
Yeah. It's gonna be fun.
You're there quite often,
Oh, we love
Sylvia.
it. Yeah.
That's located very close to you. You're one of you're the preferred officiant there.
It'll be fun.
So you got them to come on. So I'm looking forward to that. And we have
Yeah.
Crystal Point Yacht Club, a
Mm-hmm.
venue I'm at a lot. It's right down the street from me. We have so many others, and it's just great.
It's
So
going to be great. Great, great for planning. We have people coming into our preferred vendor list from all over the country and all over the world. So I guess New Jersey is now it's a destination wedding spot. So that's kind of cool.
absolutely.
I like it. I like it.
Absolutely.
I like it.
Well, so happy New Year, everyone.
Yeah.
And to all of those fabulous couples who got engaged over this holiday season, congratulations on your engagement.
Fun. Fun stuff. But then there are things right now that you have to do.
Right,
Like
right. So
right
what's
this
next?
minute.
You're engaged. So what's next? Well,
What's
number
next?
one, what do you do, Celia?
You insure that ring.
Yes. Yes.
Totally do. You call Bride Lawyer, we love them,
Yes.
and you make sure that ring is insured, and you start, looking over as you look over contracts and things like that as you move ahead in your planning. They're going to be extremely helpful in every step of the
They
way.
were so great. That
They
mother
were, they
and
were so
daughter
fun.
lawyer
I know.
team, bridal lawyer. Check them out. Season 5, episode 88. Great episode. A lot of great
A lot of
information.
fun.
And you really should, it's very practical. And that's really one of the first pre-planning phone calls you should
Yep,
do. And then the second one, and I thought this was really interesting, was
definitely.
the Hack My Honeymoon,
Yep.
season 5, episode 74. Um, yeah, if you are using you smart people that know the ins and outs of it can use the points on their credit
Yes.
cards or
Mm-hmm.
on their airline flights or on the room reservations to if you start right now and you get a plan in place and Hack My Honeymoon will help you do that, you can get a free honeymoon, you know? It's really great information there.
If you're starting to plan and you are envisioning that you would like help with that, this is the time to find your full service planning person. The
Right. If
person
you're
who's
going to
gonna,
do the
yeah,
the wedding planner for the whole full service, I know
right.
day of wedding planning is has gotten very popular. That you can wait for, but this you're very right.
Yeah, you
Hire
do it
if
now.
you are going to use a full service wedding planner,
Hmm.
contact them now. And again, like you said, we have a great binnable page.
Yeah, with terrific people on it. And this would be the time to find that planner who can help lead you to other great professionals.
Yeah. Yeah. They'll help you with this pre-planning and everything. So with that pre-planning, the things to put in place there, really the first thing you should do is take a moment, the whole be mindful, live in the moment, and celebrate your engagement. You don't get too many moments like this in life. Celebrate it. Take a moment and celebrate it however you want.
It's just, and maybe you want to tell everybody right away, but maybe you don't. Maybe,
Right,
you
right.
want to relax and just be like a little private about it, but do things on your own time, you know.
Right, right. And some people do things like, an engagement shoot or and then they'll announce it through social media, of course, is very popular now, or
Mm.
they might have an engagement party with their very closest family members,
Yeah.
and just keep it to that and that's a way to announce it to all the family. But however you decide to do it, a weekend away, just the two of you and just soak it all in and
Yeah.
celebrate that engagement.
And maybe do schedule those engagement photos with, a photographer that you're thinking of, or maybe somebody you've heard about or were referred
Mhm.
to. And it's a great way to see if your personality styles match up,
Right. If you want
before
to
that
use
big
that
day.
photographer later on for your wedding.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's great. And then
And
then
then
you
you
can talk
start
about
planning
style,
the idea part of the wedding. There's
brainstorming. Yeah.
yeah, the pre-planning and now the idea part, your visions.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What, you know, eventually you have to make some decisions, but some of those decisions are, we hear this all the time. It's like we know we want something small and intimate, or we know that we want something gigantic.
Right.
Um, we want something casual. We're like big campers, we're big hikers. We want something that tunes into that, or we're more formal. Let's go out for a fabulous night on the town, people. Those are things that can translate very easily into the kind of wedding venue you pick and the kind of style
Right.
choices you make along the way.
So you need to sit down as a couple and
Hmm.
discuss your vision. What are you guys thinking? Formal, casual, destination, micro, wedding. And then there's always those key elements. Did you always have your heart set on, a summer ceremony on the beach or a
Hmm.
fall vibe, or I just always wanted the winter wedding. So talk about that. Make your list of those kind of style and elements that
Yeah.
that would be your vision,
Yeah.
kind of create your own Pinterest board there, your own vision.
Yeah.
Take some notes, discuss it as a couple. I love the idea that it's your first time, your wedding's your first time as a couple, showing your mutual your vision
Your
together.
personality.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And it doesn't mean you have the same personality. We've done plenty of weddings where somebody is one kind of personality and the other person is not.
Yeah.
And it's one of the many, many compromises that you'll make over the course of your married life. So
Right. Exactly.
it's good
So
practice for marriage.
So once you've done you've celebrated your engagement, you did the pre-planning, the hack my honeymoon, the bridal lawyer, get that ring insured,
Hmm.
your ideas, you've written down your visions, the different ones, and of course, as you said, Celia, it's evolving.
It does.
I
It
think
doesn't
I
hit
think
you
a
in the
lot of
head.
people might not have like an absolute vision because a lot of us could be, I love the fall. I also love the summer. It's like I could have the penthouse in the city, but I could have the lake house too. It,
That's right.
it could change. It could change, and that will come in when everything evolves. If you find like that venue of your dreams, or maybe the guests when you're thinking of when they can attend, favorite people, you might change that kind of
Right.
vibe. Might have to
Right.
move it to a different time of year,
Yeah.
It will evolve.
Well, and there's availability too. You're going to find different venues. I mean, listen, the picking of a venue, it's such a huge thing. It really is. It
Yeah.
really is for a lot of people. It's an emotional decision as well as a practical one. It's like,
Right.
how many times do we talk to somebody who has gone into one of our venues and just said, "That's it. I knew that was it. It had to
Right.
be it." And,
Right. Well,
that's why it's on a Tuesday in February because it had to be this venue. And that's the only time that we could have it.
well, that's where the next comes in. Is so you've celebrated your engagement, you've done some of that pre-planning, you've written down your ideas or visions as a couple, kind of your favorite season, what you're thinking, formal, casual, all of that. But then we have to start getting real, and you need to set a budget
Yeah. It's
because you
the
can't
big
go
ugly bead
really
word.
any further without setting a budget. And that's
You
again
really
how
can't.
it can evolve. If you want, if your budget, you might have to move it to like an off-season date to accommodate your budget, that type of
Mhm.
thing, or a Thursday or something like that,
Yeah. Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with that. We're doing weddings January, February, March. We're booked with weddings. And listen, it's a great time. Having a wedding in February, everybody that you know is going to show up because what else do they have to do? They love you. Of course they love you, but they can love you in a singular way in February.
Yeah, they're not up to anything. So, and budgets are real. So it's
Yes,
the
they are.
hardest part to talk about. So you have to think how much as a couple that you can put into this, to your
Right.
wedding. How much do you want to, can you afford?
Right.
And determine who's contributing,
Right. Is
Do you
anybody
have
else going to
family
help?
members
Yeah.
that are going to
Yeah.
be contributing?
Yeah. And
Um,
keep in mind too that, the first thing that most people pick is their venue, even if it's an at-home wedding. We always dreamed about getting married at home. Well, you still probably have tenting tables, chairs, silverware. There it's not like, oh, we're just going to go home and get married.
right.
Um, your reception typically is going to take up a half of your total budget.
Yeah.
And it's a good kind of marker to start with, knowing that this is going to be, this is how much this is going to cost, this is how much these venues cost per person, and this is how many people we can think. Because the next thing you have to do is really figure out a guest list. And
Right. And this again is going
yeah,
to evolve with the budget.
right, exactly, exactly.
So
And
they say that a good way to do a guest list is to break it into three categories. The number one is your must-haves, obviously, your immediate family, your closest friends,
right.
anyone essential to your day. That's your
Hmm.
must-have list. And then you have your second is your would like list. I'd really like them to come. If it works in our budget, I really want these
Hmm.
extended family members, these coworkers, acquaintances, and plus ones I'd like to. And then the optional, the distant connections, or those you're less close to. Maybe
Hmm.
the one that's always the ones that your parents want you to,
I know.
want you to invite or something like that. It would be nice, but it's not. We're
Yeah,
not sure if it's in the budget.
if it's going to work. But I think in the back of your mind too, always, and we're hearing this more and more and more, is like we wanted 25 people, somehow it's 90. And
Right.
keeping a clear head through the whole process and practicing saying no.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Well, guest lists can be budget driven, but they can also be
Style driven.
your
Absolutely.
style, your desire driven. I don't want more than 30 people or more than
Right.
50 people at my wedding because I feel that we don't get to talk to them. That seems I want people that I, love and I know who they are there. I just want it that intimate.
Hmm.
You hear that all the time.
Oh yeah,
So there's
absolutely.
two different, obviously because, the more guests, the more expensive it's,
Yeah. Well,
300 a plate or something,
yeah.
obviously. But the people also choose those fabulous small shindigs, which
Hmm.
was another
Yeah.
one on season 5. We spoke to small shindigs, and that was great about
It's
people
so
doing
fun.
the
And hey,
intimate
listen,
ceremonies.
I think that there's another way of thinking about this too, and that is, I think it was in the New York Times a few years ago, that the amount of money it costs an average guest to come to your wedding is between $700 and $800,
Yeah.
which sounds like a lot, but when you start thinking about maybe unpaid time off, travel, hotels, maybe, I mean, even a lot of local people stay over the night of the wedding and don't want to travel after partying all evening, and
Right.
clothes and babysitters and dog sitters and a gift. It's like it adds up. And the people that, maybe on that fringe, it's like, are we going to invite them? Maybe we're not. It's like, they may be having that same thought when they open that envelope. It's like, oh, we're supposed to go to a wedding, and maybe they're not supposed to go to a wedding. I think I, I think that every guest should be really considered, which is not to say that I have not talked to guests at weddings, and I'll say to somebody who comes up to me, it's like, "Oh, how do you know the couple?" It's like, "Oh, we've lived next to the parents I remember when they were born, when the
Yeah.
bride was born." It's like there's a certain sweetness to that too. But,
Absolutely.
there is that curve in the road where sweetness and sentimentality meets the reality in the checkbook.
Right. Right. Because budgets are real. Yeah. So your
Yeah,
vision and style might just be a more intimate ceremony, or it could be
absolutely.
budget driven. So that's why you should make you
Yeah.
know, it your first guest list is a draft.
Right.
Could be
Right.
trimmed, could evolve.
And,
You
and it's,
could have
it's
somebody else
going to
come in
evolve
and
too.
say, look, I'd like to give you X amount, grandma, auntie,
That's true.
gift you something.
It's
So,
going to evolve too based on what you find out things actually cost.
yeah,
And, a lot of, I mean, because it's an arena that, I doubt that most people are on a weekly basis figuring out how much wedding photography costs until they're in the process of trying to find somebody to do that. But some of the things that, you're thinking about or that you might want to include, it's not your fault. You've just never shopped for them before. You don't know what they cost.
yeah.
And,
Right.
once you have some good numbers, then you can sort of, I think everything sort of evolves in the same way. Like your guest list evolves along with your budget, along with the things that you may or may not need to have. It's like, well, we wanted a bouncy house, but we really can't afford that.
Yeah. Well, it's funny you said bouncy house because when you're making your guest list, that's the time to set some rules. And one of the big rules, and that's always a topic of conversation, children or no children. Now, obviously, this is a personal decision. Perhaps the couple has their own children or they're bringing children into the marriage. That's always whatever. Maybe you're having a backyard wedding that's going to accommodate that. Maybe you're having a formal
Right.
wedding, no children, that you want an adult only, party, that you just attended a wedding where a child cried the whole time or
Yeah.
something. I don't know. I say that as a mom. I have three kids. I don't care. Bring your kids, don't bring, I don't care. But this is where you will have to make your decisions on that. Your rules, plus ones,
Right.
children. Are you bringing your dogs?
Right. It's true. And yeah, the kid thing is always, it's a discussion. It's a perpetual discussion because for some people, some families, they could never have a wedding without kids. And for other people, it's
Right.
like that is just not what they had in mind. I mean, obviously, if a couple has personal children, they're going to be there. But,
Right.
it's most weddings they're not really set up to accommodate children's attention spans. And, it's not their fault that they're being kids. That's what they are, and
Right.
it's just, it's something to think about. And, the plus one thing too, it's like, do you want random people who it's like, is your wedding going to be date night? Or do you want to, I mean, obviously, clearly, if people are married in long-term relationships, long-term dating
Engaged or
partners,
otherwise,
those
yeah.
people, those people get invited together. That's not even a
Yeah.
discussion.
Your sister who has been dating her boyfriend for the last 7 years, he's coming.
He's coming. He's coming.
But your
Yeah,
single friend that doesn't have, not currently dating someone, maybe that's what you have to decide. Or is a
yeah,
plus one something that's that we'd like to include? Is it in the budget?
yeah. And hey, listen, I've married a number of people who met a number of couples who met each other at weddings. Because
Yes.
yeah, so think
Yeah.
of it as an opportunity for your single friends to.
Yeah.
uh,
That's true. I have married quite a few couples who say, funny enough, we met at a wedding.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like almost like a full
absolutely.
circle thing.
Absolutely. It is like a Hallmark movie waiting to happen, you know?
Exactly,
I
exactly.
kind of like it. But
So I think you start out, kind of slow and enjoy it. You start
yeah.
out with that, celebrate your engagement, whether you do it with a romantic dinner, a engagement photo shoot, start a scrapbook of some type or a journal with it.
Yeah, that's a good
Have
idea.
have an engagement party with your closest family and loved ones. However mini getaway, however you want to do it, and then the pre-planning.
Yeah.
Get
I
that
think,
ring
yeah.
insured, call bridal lawyer,
Yep.
hack my honeymoon. And
Yep.
if you're going to have a wedding planner for the entire planning process, then now's the time to get them.
Yeah, it's a good
Then your
idea.
idea and
Yeah.
your visions, talk about
Mm,
it with each other. What are you thinking? Make your little lists.
mm.
And then the budget and the guest list.
Yeah. And enjoy it, and enjoy
Joy.
it. And because we're going to help you.
Yeah.
We have some other plans for some other podcasts about this and
Right. We're actually breaking this up into 3 podcasts, so it's not overwhelming and it doesn't have to be overwhelming to you.
no, it
It
doesn't.
could be a date night once a week and okay, what's on the agenda today?
Yeah, I think that's a
Yeah.
great idea, actually. Yeah, just, try not to spend your entire life from now until your wedding day talking about wedding stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Uh so on the next episode of You're Engaged, What Next? We start with the booking your venue.
Oh, yeah. And you will have heard about a bunch of them by then because
Absolutely.
we've had some great people. We have some great people coming up. And, there's everything from tiny, tiny micro weddings to, hundreds of people. We've got all kinds of great people to talk about their venues and how wonderful they can be as a backdrop.
Yes, we have spoken to the owners of many great
Hmm.
wedding venues, from the micro weddings such as the Grinville Inn to
Mm.
the Tides Estate, to the Mill Lakeside Manor and Clark's Landing, to so many, Johnson Locust Hall Farm. That was a
A lot
great
of
one.
different ones too, really. We pleasantly divine stables, and we've got
Yeah,
from
that was really nice.
ballrooms to horse stables. We got all kinds of stuff going on. It's
I
great.
think the best way for our listeners to check these out is obviously to go to our website,
Hmm.
NewJerseyWeddingPodcast.com,
Definitely.
and just scroll through it. The links are there. You just click on it and it'll take you to that episode, or the Binnable page, and it is organized.
Yeah,
Celia's done taking care of organizing that very nicely.
the
And
Benable
that
page is great.
is, what's the
It's a
Binnable?
it's
It's
a
a
benable.com/New Jersey Wedding Podcast.
Okay, great. And
And
that's going to be on the links down below in all the social media,
yep.
which is everything is New Jersey Wedding Podcast. That's our social media accounts, whether it's Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and also our website, New Jersey Wedding Podcasts. And of course, those links are going to be on all the podcast sites too,
Hmm.
wherever you listen. Be
That's right.
sure and hit like and subscribe so you don't miss an episode. And let's have fun planning.
Yeah,
We want to
enjoy it.
connect with you too. Do you have any questions? Please message us. We love to hear your questions. We can answer them, or we can get whoever you want to hear from on the podcast. We never share your email, just your question. And if you have any advice, if you're a previous bride or previous groom and you have some advice, we'd love to hear from you too.
Yeah, yeah, it's fun. If you've been at one of our places and had a absolutely fabulous time, we'd love to hear about it.
Yeah, we want to hear about it. Okay. All right. Thank you for joining us today and
Bye, everybody.
congratulations on your engagement.
Yes, and Happy New Year. Bye.
Bye. This podcast is brought to you by New Jersey wedding officiant Andrea Pertel, owner of For This Joyous Occasion Officiating Services.
And Celia Milton, owner of NJ Vows Now, also New Jersey wedding officiating services. We're up in North Jersey, and Andrea is down in Central and South Jersey. So together we cover the whole state, don't we?
Yes, yes.